Alright lads, welcome back to the InsideMC podcast, the podcast where I interview a very special guest every different week. I'm still kind of working on the intro. I know it's different to last week's one. I will get one that flows quite well with me. And for those who probably didn't watch last week's podcast and might be watching this one, if you're curious as to why the intro has changed, it's because on Wednesday, after this podcast is coming out, there will be a brand new podcast called Midweek MC, which is a podcast which I record every Wednesday and upload every Wednesday with the very special guest, or very special co-host, being Captain AJX, who hasn't been announced yet at the time of me recording this podcast. They're being announced tomorrow, but for you guys, you'll know all of that, you'll know all that kind of jazz. And the Wednesday before this podcast comes out, hopefully we would have recorded a midweek MC. It's all a bit confusing because I record on the Monday, upload on the Friday. This has been recorded on a Wednesday because I'm playing catch up. Blah, 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 blah. It's all going to go back to normal next week, okay? Next Monday I'm recording the podcast from when this podcast is being recorded. Anyways, waffled a little bit, ranted a little bit there. But today I am joined with someone who is very, very cool. Someone who I also couldn't really find too much information on. I normally have I still have a good amount to talk with them. I normally have a lot that I know about a person, but this person is very I don't know. I found out something just before the podcast, before we hit record, so that's pretty cool. But I am joined with the one and only Anthos.
What? Hey, hi. Hello there.
How are you?
I am just fantastic.
That is amazing to hear. So I have been calling you Anthos this entire time, and throughout the podcast I'm probably going to go back to calling you Anthos again, so I apologize in advance.
No problem.
Not to be confused with Anthos, I'm saying Anthos, to be very clear, just in case I say it in a very fast
Or
sentence.
ant venom. There's a whole lot of ants in the community.
Yeah, but Anthos and ant venom don't sound the same, do they?
Yeah, I still get confused with them, so it doesn't really matter.
That just shows that you're global, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You're famous.
Worldwide.
So, Anthos, you also, some people know you as OBED. I don't know if anyone's ever called you OBED other than me before.
Not really.
No, well, one block every day. You run the Twitter account one block every day. So
Yeah, Mr. One Block.
So you're not just Anthos, you are someone else as well, which is pretty cool. All we're going to cover on the podcast, so
Yeah.
But I like to give the intro for you to tell the viewer who you are, what you do, fun fact if you must, just anything really to kind of tell them yourself rather than me tell them, because it's just better coming from you, you know?
All right. Hi there. I'm Anthos. I run the Twitter project, of course, One Block Every Day, where I place a block in Minecraft every day to slowly build a house. With that, I have on content creators, streamers, YouTubers, etc. to help me build it. Outside of One Block, I do my own personal stuff, Anthos, which is mainly just helping out with Block Wars, playing events, and of course, a little light streaming. I won't lie with you.
You don't really stream too often though, do you?
I'm mainly an event streamer, unfortunately.
That's not really an unfortunate thing. I mean, you're in a good few events. I guess you do stream more often.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool. And you mentioned before the podcast as well that we'll get into, because I didn't actually know about this, that you also used to run a podcast.
Yeah. A few years back, I used to run a interview show, kind of similar to this, called Janitor's Closet. That was back when I wasn't even called Anthos, called Internet Janitor at the time.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk about it a bit more in a second.
Yeah.
Because I also wanted to mention that stems from me asking if you'd ever been on a podcast before, which I actually never got the answer. Have you been on a podcast before?
Yes.
Oh, you have?
It's been a long time, though.
So I'm getting a brand new and improved Anthos.
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, so I have a little format that I go by, and that's why I keep saying we'll talk about that later. I do apologize. It's essentially it's not always this, and it probably won't be for this podcast, but I like to just narrow it down to a past, present, future. So that way then it kind of makes it easier for the highlights, also makes it easier so people don't get too confused on the different topics, like if we talk about the podcast now and then in 20 minutes time it's a bit like I'm a bit muddled up. It's just a nice sort of format I keep. Obviously everyone's different, but the first few questions are relatively the same for every person, and I used to be a bit worried about that, like it'd get boring, but the thing is everyone has a different answer, so let's say it works out, you know?
Yeah.
With that being said, let's move into the past segment of the podcast. I mean, it's not even a segment, I don't know why I say this, but it should transition anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've given me a topic, which we'll talk about this first, in fact, actually, before we get into talking about you and stuff like that. So, you used to be called the internet janitor. How long ago was this?
Ooh. Oh my god, that was like mid 2019 to early 2020. I was internet janitor.
So you didn't have the name for long at all?
Not that long in the grand scheme of things. I moved on to Anthos kind of quickly.
Why was that your original name?
Well, it was actually... So before I was even internet janitor, I used to be called Majin Caden, which is just Caden's my real name. So, and there was this Twitter account called Internet Janitor. That was like a kind of community police for the commentary community.
Yeah.
And I was very interested in the account. I followed it. And then one day I was invited to kind of help tweet on it. And I was very excited about it because I was kind of very big into the commentary community at the time. A commentary kid, if you'd say.
Yeah.
And then it got just immediately suspended, which was a bit of a downer. Oh, wait, no, actually, it wasn't even called Internet Janitor. It was originally called Community Commentary Watchdog?
You tweeted
or something
on
like that
and got it suspended.
No, I did not get it suspended. that was not me.
Yeah.
Don't believe the lies. But no, the account ended up getting hacked and then suspended through some shady stuff being tweeted. And then it's like, okay, I had this first experience as a commentary community member. What now? Then Internet Janitor came to be. It's not a particular phase of mine I'm that proud of, being a commentary kid. Little toxic shit, even. But it is definitely a major part into who I kind of am today. That's where I got my start with gimmick accounts, with being a content creator and that kind of thing. I used to actually just stream a lot of Minecraft under that phase too, along with doing kind of interview podcasts, which I have unlisted. No way are those seeing the sun ever again.
Oh.
But yeah, no, it's I had some notable people on there like Poke, Yahia Mice, some other people of that caliber.
Now I've got notable people like Anthos coming on mine.
Yeah, hey, big ups. Yeah, no, it's just like what ended up ending Internet Janitor was ironically commentary drama. I said some really stupid stuff and it bit me in the butt, I'd say.
Stuff that I assume we're not going to get into.
It's so old at this point, I kind of barely remember it.
Yeah.
I just remember it being very embarrassing. But then it was like, okay, new identity time, Anthos. It's based off a Scooby-Doo character. A one episode Scooby-Doo villain, Warlock, I believe it was.
Okay.
And then here we are today.
So you said it's based on like the Scooby-Doo character. You was kind of saying about that. What Anthos? What was the like? How did that come from it? I don't understand.
So there's a Scooby-Doo villain named Anthos.
Oh.
And
okay.
That's when I was kind of choosing a new identity, a new alias to go by. And that caught my attention. That was a real kind of humdinger. I won't lie with you. Real perfect name. I mean, I never seen a content creator with this name. It's unique. It's interesting.
Something different.
It's a name you can't forget. Yeah.
And then, I guess, backtracking on ourselves quickly to the podcast, I did have a question about it before we put him into your new identity.
Yeah.
So, what made you begin the podcast? And I guess...
Oh, my original podcast?
What do you mean original podcast? Well, you had two?
I did have two. I had two.
I
had okay. So the original one was when I was Majin Caden. So that was another kind of commentary kid podcast. It was one I started with friends I made online.
Okay.
It was called the Donkey Inc. Podcast. That name was
That's actually solid.
Thank you. It was come up with by a random word generator.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
That's what I named our kind of content group in quotation marks. And that's what we named the podcast. So it was a good bit of fun. I was like super young though. I started that when I was in like middle school is when I started that podcast.
And that one didn't last too long.
Not really. It's it lasted for like a couple months. I was doing it here and there. Along that time too, I was doing some other series as well. Like I had started doing a review series, which was my most fruitful venture.
Very,
I will say,
interesting venture. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, just watching some The Boys and then give it a rating
in middle school.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was my most viewed video on my channel for like a whole year.
Each to their own, I guess.
It hit it big with the Japanese community. What can I say?
So why did the original podcast, as well as the review series? Why did they both end?
Well, that was because of Commentary Watchdog, which I mentioned earlier.
Oh, and then when you got into that, that's why it ended.
Yeah. That was like my new identity, my new kind of content I wanted to do, which quickly shifted to Internet Janitor, of course. And yeah, then my second podcast, basically I was just like, man, I miss doing a podcast. I want to do another. So I started doing a kind of weekly show called Janitor's Closet. I was very proud of that name.
It's a good name. I like it, yeah.
And at the time as well, there was this. Oh yeah, even with Majin Kano too. I used to know this artist named Taste of Chocolate, who helped kind of form the basis of like art for my stuff.
Okay.
He did a lot of amazing art pieces. It's not a whole lot of it. It's still out there. But it's just like he was very monumental for my start online. He even came up with the original design for my kind of character as an internet janitor. I'm not sure if he's still around. I mean, I'd have to check. Taste of Chocolate. But yeah, really cool guy. Shout out to him, actually. He was really cool. He was from Scotland.
And they kind of kickstarted, like, well, not kickstarted, but they're a big, I mean, like, even though it's like an old alias, it's still a big part of where you are today, kind of thing.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, it's a very easily, like, timeline of evolution where it's like Majin Kaden, I was a very nervous kind of kid, couldn't really talk to new people that well. And you have Internet Janitor, I'm more bolsterous, no more bold.
Maybe
probably to my own detriment. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was kind of, I won't lie with you, it was kind of a shithead. I would kind of just, like, try to start stuff online, which not the best idea.
That's also like the 2019. That's also the 2019 like thing, because like I don't know if you've ever heard of them, because I know like I actually they're a big YouTube, so you probably do. I mean, yeah, you probably have if you were into commentary. Memulous. Yeah. See, I absolutely love that dude's content, and back in 2019,
my scale was kind of like smaller. Like the kind of crew I was around was like Augie ARG. Not ARG. Augie something. He ran a very similar Augie RFC. He ran a weekly kind of show too, and he was kind of very influential to my internet janitor phase.
But I mean, like back in 2019, the commentary scene was just
2019, 2020. Yeah. So it was like him, Bo Blacks, Nicholas Diorio.
See, I don't know any of these names. I'm gonna be real.
I mean, and yeah, they're all kind of commentary heads. If you're in the community, you know them.
See, I'm into commentary, but not. I guess just not that. And like, I know Memulous, I'm Alex, James Marriott. They're like, I guess British.
Yeah. But it's like I was kind of in the smaller circuit, which is a hell of a lot more toxic.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They don't forget easily, is what I'll say.
And then, so that podcast ended because you changed aliases?
It wasn't exactly that. It was kind of a big blowout, so to say.
Oh, okay, part of the whole...
Then, kind of drama with old friends, that kind of deal. Yeah. Is just like getting kicked out of the community, kind of. And then having to embrace a new thing. That you'll notice that too, that in different, like in each phase, I'm kind of covering different niches too.
Yeah.
Originally, Majin Kaden and kind of internet janitor was like drama focused, like being okay. I mean, I guess you're not wrong.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It's just like trying out different things. Like internet janitor was kind of like a shitty commentary kid who would go on Twitter every day and like talk about whatever the newest drama is and talk shit. And didn't really turn out that well for him. See, it turns out. Then you got Anthos, which not a whole lot of people know this or really are aware of this, but I started off as Anthos making memes.
Well, no
They're
content.
Still, I mean, technically it's content. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is content.
Videos, sorry, were they meme videos or like
it was just like memes. I would just make my own memes and stuff.
But like image version or video version?
Kind of both.
Oh, okay,
I mostly made videos, which was very much helped by me running various gimmick accounts.
Yeah.
At the time, weirdly enough, because of Internet Janitor, I met a guy called MK Online who ran just all the biggest gimmick accounts on Twitter at the time. We're talking strangest videos online, perfect Minecraft edits, video game edits, that kind of thing. I'm not sure if you remember those, but they were
I know the second one you said, perfect Minecraft edits, yeah.
He was big in that, and I had met him at the perfect time to where he was kind of looking for someone to add to the crew. I guess you could say, which also helped spur my kind of Twitter growth. Because a whole big part of me being Mosh and Caden, Internet Janitor, and even Anthos is just Twitter. It's almost always been Twitter focused. Maybe one block, maybe commentary drama, maybe just whatever. Yeah, I mean, Twitter is the reason why I have everything. So, I mean, I probably wouldn't even be talking to you right now if it wasn't for Twitter.
I mean, like I told you, I knew who you were, but it's just I'm not saying you. I mean, I'm not saying you weren't ever gonna be reached out to. Like I was planning on reaching out to you at one point, but I will be dead honest when I say I knew you. I didn't know you ran the One Block Everyday account. And that's not the reason I reached out to you. I just never knew that. So when you followed me, I was like, oh, that's like the owner of that account. I was like, oh, sick. And then it kind of just that's what sparked in my mind. I was like, oh, you know what? They follow me. I might as well ask. It's like that kind of scenario. Not because you own the account, but it's just because you followed me. So I was like, oh, I might as well reach out to them. I would have reached out to you in the future, but it just kind of boosted you a lot forward, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I get that. The Twitter has always been like just a huge thing to me. It's a site I unironically do love, and I use it just a ton in general.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shame with the whole X and Elon Musk thing. That's like a whole kind of can of worms, but yeah.
I think it's a barrel of worms, in all honesty. You're right.
Yeah.
And then, oh yeah, sorry, Karen.
I won't lie to you. I kind of forgot what we were originally talking about. What's up?
So you became Anthos because of a Scooby-Doo character. That's kind of where we were at.
Yeah.
Kind of tangent. Which the tangents are completely fine, by the way. As much as you want to do them, 100%. I don't mind long podcasts at all. I don't mind editing them, especially because I'm not in a rush to edit this one because it's coming out next week now. So I finally essentially caught up, so it's a lot easier. But yeah, so with that, if that came from like the Scooby-Doo bad guy, does your skin look like that Scooby-Doo bad guy, or is that a whole different thing?
No, it's actually based on something else. So then obviously next thing came the skin, because if I wanted to be a Minecraft creator, obviously you gotta have a skin. You gotta have something that represents you. So I went with the tried and true method of just choosing a skin based off a Scooby-Doo villain, which the first one that came to mind was Space Kook. Which is where I got my... Okay, because Anthos is... I mean, he appears in one single episode. No one is making a Minecraft skin of him.
Yeah,
okay,
that's fine.
Yeah, Space Kook is like a more kind of recognizable, more rememberable villain from the series.
Yeah.
Which does have just multiple skins of him, including the original one I was using before, which is just super well made, super talented. I mean, I know that for our little thing here, you're showing off my former current skin, which is the skin Space Brown has made me for Pandora's Box, which is kind of a edited version of that original skin, but still.
To be fair, so.
Yeah, well, that was the skin I was using at the time. Because man, Space Brownie in general, amazing artists, love their stuff. By the way, shout out to them.
They're gonna love that. By the way, I reckon.
Yeah,
they are. They made me a team skin for Jackass Game Nights, which you were meant to play in. By the way, what happened to that?
Okay, so here's the thing. I have a job.
So do I.
Well, you're British. Most of the time for events, it's like 7 p.m. your time.
Yeah, no, fair
enough. For me, it's like an event happens. It's like, oh, hey, that's at like 2 p.m. That's middle of my shift.
Oh, yeah, that's
so like, I mean, for like Black Wars, I usually have to take a day off to play in that.
Oh, so you just didn't get to play because of that.
Yeah. So like when I saw the day and just like, oh, hey, when it's happening, it's just like, I'm not going to be able to play.
Yeah, I'll just donor orbits when he's asking if I'm going to sign up or not. You know, I just won't give them a response. Can't be bothered. No, but point is, Space made. I actually asked Space. I said to him, I said, like, I've never had a skin from you before. I've really wanted one. Like, can you make me a skin? Like, oh, like, I'm going on. I said, that's fine. I said, it's fine. I said, like, it's I wasn't like me trying to guilt trip her. I was like, yes, completely fine. Like, I don't mind. I was just asking as a shot in the dark. And she made our team skins, and they're just amazing. He's so talented.
Yeah.
So cool.
Always consistently good work. Never fail to deliver.
Exactly. And that your skin right now is that team skin, but you said you've changed it. I'm probably going to use the one that you sent me in the video for YouTube. It's just a loop of us sitting there. Like, it's just because that's what I use in the announcements. There's kind of consistency with it. A little bit of OCD, but like playing a part there. But you said you've changed your skin since?
Yes, I have. I actually commissioned a skin, a custom skin.
Oh.
It's very similar, but it's just like, it's actually unique now. And not just something I found on the internet. Here, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I mean, rather you send me a picture, because then I can actually look at it rather than skin file.
Yeah, of course.
While you do that, then I might as well ask, with Minecraft specifically, when you was doing commentary, was that in the Minecraft scene or was that just your YouTube commentary? I assume it was just YouTube commentary. Right?
That was mostly just drama commentary. Yeah.
So then, what moved you into Minecraft? Why?
I've kind of always been Minecraft adjacent to some extent. Because of like friends playing it, you know, people at school or just friends online, that kind of thing, being like, oh hey, hop on Minecraft, oh hey, hop on Hypixel, that kind of deal. So it's always been just there, I guess. And it is a game I did play as a kid too, on my original Xbox 360. No Xbox Live though, so it's just constantly me in single play worlds. But what really got me into the creator scene was the Minecraft gimmick account that MK Online was running. That was my first
Perfect Edits, that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfectly cut edits or whatever. That was the one that just really was just like, oh hey, cool. I can like do this thing where like I post memes and stream clips and that kind of thing. And it's like I get to interact with the community and all that. Because before that, wait, no, actually, going farther back than that, I almost forgot I was in an SMP.
Oh, what SMP were you in?
Oh shit, you're probably gonna have zero clue what it was because it was kind of just full of, I don't want to be mean.
Smaller
but
creators.
Just smaller creators. That's a very
That's
nice way
of
of
saying it. Yeah.
But it was called Simp Live, which not that Simp Live, not the female only one. The exact same name, but just different roster.
No, I heard of that. No, I'm sorry, I'm lying. I am lying.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You don't have to appease my ego. I can take being like I can take being
I just wanted to be funny and all this. Was this before the gimmick account? You kind of modeled me all over here. This was before the gimmick account.
This was sorry. It's just I don't know. It's just like so many thoughts are flooding back.
It's fine.
While I was still internet janitor, I was in an SMP called Simp Live, which was ran by. I actually have zero clue now. There is someone. I remember a cat profile picture.
Everyone has cat profile picture.
Yeah, but they ran it and they invited me. I think I had asked to join, and they were like, "Oh yeah, sure." And that was my first like real experience with it, like content wise, because I mean it had a very similar system to SMP Live, where it's like, "Oh yeah, $5 for an assassination." Whatever, to like go hunt someone. Yeah. And that was my first ever time getting like a donation or like money online.
Okay.
Couldn't do much with it because I was like 15 or 16.
Oh geez, you was in the drama community that young? Oh
yeah.
Ouch. That one's got hurt.
Not a great time.
You were younger though, so I guess it's a good excuse.
Yeah. But it's that SMP in general was just I had a really cool time there. I met a lot of cool people, made a lot of good friends. That's where I met Archie and Yahia. Was that well, I already kind of knew them, but that's where I actually kind of befriended with Asterix. But that's where I got to know them, which was really cool. That was a really cool experience. Wasn't really cool what happened after, but story for another day. Maybe.
I think we won't talk about it in the podcast.
Yeah. But that was my real first experience of content. It was really cool. It was really interesting. I built a cool little dirt house, of course, and a little mansion to go with it.
Nice.
And it was just that was my first ever experience to it, like community wise, because I actually did meet content creators that were in Minecraft and like got to know them more, like Archie and Yahi. They were kind of my introduction to all that for the most part. Like I knew of other people, like, you know, Call Me Carson and the SMP Live kind of crew. I knew of them, but didn't really know them. But it was that got me even interested in doing more Minecraft in general, was that SMP. Yeah?
Oh, no, you go.
No, go ask away.
No, carry on what you're saying and now ask me.
I've lost my train of thought now.
Oh,
ask.
Sorry. I was going to say, so how come you haven't started a Minecraft podcast, or is it like a curse? Starting a podcast, is it a curse?
So I won't lie to you. I have been just thinking about that a bit. It's just like, what if I did an interview show? I mean, I know kind of everyone at this point. It would not be too hard to get guests. It's just like, do I have the time for it? Because outside of a job, I am also doing college.
Oh, what are you studying?
And I'm going for engineering, baby. Want to be an astronaut.
Very cool.
Yeah, want to work at NASA and that kind of thing.
Fancy schmancy.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, doing college, doing a full-time job, Minecraft, and like my own kind of personal endeavors is just like not a whole lot of time for it. I probably could. If I really wanted to, I could. But it's just like, I'd rather leave it to the more professional people, like our good man here, of course.
Yeah. Sorry, who are the more professional people?
Why, of course, Orbit's the one and only.
To be fair, I got some pretty cool guests interested in the podcast, which is pretty fun. And you'd only be taking away from that, Anthos. You'd be taking away all my guests if you really said.
We're gonna steal the market share. Damn.
But nah, I mean, I work as well. It's nearly 8 p.m. I've been awake since 4:30 a.m. because of work. That's always fun. But I've kind of learned to go to bed on 5 hours sleep and be awake, which, I mean, I don't know how long this is going to last for, but we hope for the best. So, and then I just recently announced, like I mentioned in the intro, I'm not sure if you saw the announcement today, that the brand new midweek MC, which is I'm now going to be recording on Mondays with a guest that will come out the Friday afterwards. And then 2 days later, I'm going to be recording every Wednesday with Captain AJX, which will come out the Wednesday afterwards before the guest podcast. So I need to make sure I don't mix in things or leak anything from the guest podcast on the midweek MC. So. But you know, so it's all fun. It's all good fun. And I love the podcast so much. It's so fun. And I assume you enjoyed your time as well when you do it. It's a good thing to have.
It is.
What were you talking about?
We were talking about Minecraft.
It moves in. I guess moving back into the gimmick thing then, because this is good.
Yeah.
This is setting up a very clean transition. So you got started working on the core MC edits or whatever. MC edits. That's the easy way to remember it. He was working on that. This was under the Anthos alias. I can imagine that account was doing really well.
It was doing fantastic. And it's actually the reason why I have one block today.
Oh my god, what a really cool transition.
Yeah, because when I was working on Perfectly Cut Minecraft, I had the idea for one block every day. And I was like, oh wait, I'm already running a Minecraft gimmick. What if I started a new one and retweet it on the one I'm already running? Perfect cross promotion.
What happened to the original one? Why'd you stop working on that?
So I didn't actually stop working on it. It just got suspended.
Oh, that got suspended.
I didn't actually own the account. That was MK Online that owned all that. And turns out, bro was doing promos on his account. And that was a big Twitter no. Yeah, that got everything suspended, fortunately.
Jeez. But then you had your backup.
Yeah, I had one block, which was, for the most part, that was an account that was grown very organically. Surprisingly so. Because it just, when I put out the first tweet on the account, I had figured out the format. I had figured out how I wanted to do it before tweeting it out. And I was like, I'm not sure if this is going to do well. I'm not sure if it's going to blow up like the accounts I've been running before. Because you never really know with this kind of thing.
Exactly.
I've seen gimmick accounts before with amazing ideas that just never really blew up. But hey, is this going to be the one? I mean, we already know the answer to that, but, you know, suspense.
At the time, you didn't know the answer, so...
Yeah, so I went for it. I put that tweet out. I retweeted it on Perfectly Cut Minecraft, and it blew up. But, I mean, this was an amount of growth, likes, retweets, whatever. That was unprecedented for an account like this. Within a week of the account being a thing, it got 380,000 followers. Just like that.
So you've lost followers since?
Yes, unfortunately.
Oh.
So people enjoy the start and the ending, but not so much the journey.
Yeah. I mean, still have a good amount, 326,000, which is pretty crazy.
It's just like starting off, it was just insane. You could not miss it. In fact, if I were to do an analysis of the guests I've had on one block so far, I would say about 70% of them had told me before that they saw the account before they came on.
Fun fact.
Which is...
I saw the account at the very beginning as well. And I think I was actually one of those people who used to follow it, then unfollowed, but now I've refollowed. But that's just because I clear out my Twitter followers sometimes. So I might have just unfollowed it without like realizing. But I remember saying it back in the day. I think it was back in like 2021. I was like, because you got once you started getting guests on, I was like, oh my god, which we'll get into talking about in a second. I was like to my mate, oh my god, I was like,
I started having on guests on day 15.
Yeah, and I remember like day 30 or whatever, you'd had like a few guests on. I said to my mate, I was like, oh my god, I was like, what the heck? I was like, you know, it's one thing placing a block every single day, but some of the guests this dude's gonna start getting is pretty crazy. And it turned out you've gotten some pretty crazy. Who are your biggest guests on there?
Oh fuck, okay. It depends.
Like number wise. We'll just base it on numbers.
Okay, depends. What language we talking? English, Portuguese, Spanish?
Let's do 2 from each.
Okay, so Portuguese.
2 from Spain, 2 from Portugal, 2 from England. Or English speaking.
Well, okay, I've only really had one huge Portuguese streamer. Phelps, who is now in QSMP.
Okay.
I got really lucky at that one. I just DM'd him on Twitter and he happened to be on. Spanish, that's a couple. I would actually have to. Yes.
Oh, you have actually doing on. I guess that's one.
I've had Shadoon, Elrich MC.
Oh.
Fuck, let me actually think about that. Bobby Craft and Farfa Fox. fucking Aldo Gio, fucking. Yeah, just a whole lot of huge Spanish creators. There was just a period in time where I was just nonstop having those guys on. It was a very fun time. The English, oh damn, oh shit. Okay, so off the top of my head,
too many because I don't need to go on forever.
Yeah.
You're on day 811, so like
So off the top of my head, the largest content creators I've had on, Ludwig, Tubbo, FaZe Mongrel, Allier. Those are the 4 that come to mind just immediately.
Sandwich
Probably
Wolfie.
Of course.
Yourself.
Yeah. Chandler Hollow, Finister, Niachu, Fundy. I've had a lot of those.
Very sick.
Dream SMP people. I've had on a lot of those of just large creators in general.
So I guess that begs a question then, which is perfect, and it's probably because you messaged them from MC Blocks Daily, but I'm not going to assume, I just want to ask. And it's actually a Twitter question, which I normally save until the end, but I want to ask it now because I was going to ask anyways. So 2 people asked this, but the first person to ask it, and because they asked like 2 days before, because I may have hinted on stream that you were coming on. How's the process of contacting people every day? So I guess to make this an actual topic of how I want to ask it, as well as like how do you get these creators on? Like what?
So
what
that answer is surprisingly complicated. Depends
what
what arrow of one block you're talking of. We're talking year 1, year 2, year 3.
Okay. I'll name.
You want me to just start from the beginning and just go from there?
How about I mean, you can either do that or I can name 3 creators I'm curious about.
Okay. Well, hey, just name them off.
Okay. So like 3 creators. I feel like one of them I probably know how you got them on board to. Allier, Tubbo, and Shadoon. Let's do those 3 names.
So okay, Allier just got super lucky. Just happened to know his channel manager, who contacted him and said, "Oh, hey, you want to come on this little thing?"
Oh, jeez.
And Allier was like, "Oh, wow, yeah, sure."
Okay.
So Allier, pure luck. A lot of the guests I have on are just pure luck for the most part, because it's just me shooting my shot and somehow getting it. Tubbo, that was just kind of random. I wasn't even intending to have him on. He just kind of showed up because I was having Amesy on, close friend of his, of course.
Yeah.
And Amesy, like 5 minutes before I was supposed to do one block, was like, "Hey, buddy, pal, Anthos, is it all right if I bring Tubbo with us?" And
No,
obviously, I'm shitting my pants.
Of course
I'm like, "Tubbo, are you fucking with me? Are you serious?" Then I got added to a group chat with the guy, and now I'm talking with him, and it's like, "Oh, hey, this is real." So it's just that is just another kind of just pure luck deal. Then Shadoon, I just DM'd him on Twitter. That was pretty simple.
Okay, I guess like that's the kind of answer I was looking for, was just the DMing on Twitter. Like the first 2 were purely luck based. They're probably not the best of names to pick. But like for the most part, is it just you kind of shooting your shot on Twitter, or is there like is a lot like I guess
it's just like in general, a lot of the guests I have on one block is just me just DMing someone and just hoping that they're interested. Because I mean that's the content game in general, baby.
Exactly. I mean it's what I did with you.
It's just like a whole lot of people underestimate just how much power just asking someone something has.
Exactly.
Especially when you already have an established base of creators you've had on before, or like know and that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Which is very helpful for me. You know, it's probably the reason why I've had on half the guests I've had on is because they saw like, "Oh, is that motherfucking Ludwig on there? Is that Slimesicle? Is that Tednavision?" Holy
People
shit.
are more inclined to come on if they're friends or somebody they know have
Yeah,
already
yeah.
been on. Wait, actually, I should have asked about Ludwig. How did you get Ludwig on?
So, okay, so I have this little strategy I like to call bringing in the little men. So basically, what I do, I just have their friends on first, and then they're interested. It's stupid simple. I won't lie with you. So basically, with Ludwig, I just had his friends on, specifically Falco and Aiden. And of course, they like know the guy. They're but probably best friends with the guy. He knows about it. And so when I sent him a DM on Twitter, Ludwig was immediately like, "Sure, man, let's do it." Simple as that. That's the same way how I got Slimesicle, was having on Bisley and Confication.
I guess that's like, to be fair, I've never really thought of the podcast like that. I've always said I'd get on guests who are interested, but I guess that's, with some of the guests I have planned, like unintentionally, I guess it's also what I'm doing. I'm just getting friends on.
I won't lie with you, for me too, it was a little unintentional, because I had DM'd them all at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I've done. Yeah,
but it's just like, it just happens that like it stacks up in a way where I do end up coming out on top.
It's a bit easier
because
for
I
you
just
every day,
never
though.
lose. Yeah.
With me, it's a bit harder because I have to like. I've got one person who I want. Actually, no, you can wait. You can see it's a surprise. But they're gonna. They've said they're interested in coming on, but I can't bring them on until October. We're recording in August right now, so.
Are they a Dream SMP member?
No. They're about like I guess.
Oh, okay.
Not in a rude way that this is a bad thing. But I guess they're about your size. So.
Nice. Ooh.
Not
Okay.
Twitter wise, just
Gotcha.
like known wise. Yeah.
They're known by a lot of people.
They're known by a lot of people, but they're not massive themselves, I guess.
Okay, I probably have an idea then.
Go on, say it. I'm gonna say it. I can cut out. No, I haven't reached it.
Really?
No, it's
Okay.
I'll mute it on the podcast, so you know what to say.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like an event host or like someone that just
sorry.
knows a lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's what they
I
do.
got the
No,
completely
they're not.
wrong direction from that. Okay.
I mean, yeah. Anyways, but I mean, the point is like, I mean, back to your like connection thing as well. Like, quickly to touch on it. It's kind of like how. I'm in this tournament. I invited you to the tournament. You have now invited somebody else to the tournament. I invite other people. And I guess that's also the basis of it. Like, they got me, I got you got this other person. It's like a little chain.
It's just
effect.
a big little chain.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's just like in that event. It's just like, that's the wonderful thing about being me specifically is that I just know so many people and I'm good friends with just so many creators. If I'm invited to an event and they're like, oh, hey, you can bring 2 creators. They have to be whatever size. I know people. I have the people to fit any kind of size bracket. It's amazing.
And now you have me at Anthos. Now you have me. So if they ever need anyone for Block Wars, I mean,
Of course, you'll be on the front lines.
Let's go. And I'm joking. That's the only reason I brought you on the podcast was so you can get me in Block Wars. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's sick. So I guess more on the whole one block every day thing as well. I guess we can go year by year here as well. Not contact wise, but how have you seen it grow? Because like I said, you're on day. I mean, you haven't uploaded daily on it, which is not really
I kind of failed
you
on
have a bit
that.
of a
Bro.
life as well, so it's not really your fault.
Yeah. Because I try to upload on it more, but okay.
You are
So
in quotation
I'll
marks
just
on day 811. Your previous.
So I'll
people...
try.
Oh yeah, sorry, go on.
I'll try to just like generally speak how like my thought process and how I do things year by year. Feel free to ask questions as well. So year 1, holy shit! How did this happen? Where am I at? This is so big now. What? Okay, cool. 1 week,
success.
380K followers. Almost every creator I watch on YouTube is now following the account. That's
crazy.
Weird. I'm not sure how to deal with this. But of course, one block's getting kind of boring after doing it for 2 weeks. How can I spice this up? Because it's just me going in Minecraft and placing a block. I know. What if I have guests come on to place a block? I can ask one of my content creator friends to come on. Typical. My first ever guest. Minecraft meme maker. Not really active anymore, unfortunately. But he came on. The crowd went wild. They loved it. 5 days later, another guest. Pretty sure Chromatical. He doesn't really do content anymore. Yeah. And now it's just like, now that I'm starting to have on guests, I can just have more on, more. Because at my first guest, I was like, okay, I'm only going to have guests on every 5 days. But then the interesting thing, and of course the expected thing with having guests on a project like that, is that more people want to come on because they know it's an option. So you just will get DM after DM of people being like, oh, hey, can I come on? Can I come on? Can I come place a block? And these aren't people you can just be like, whatever. No, these are like big creators. Creators I watch asking to come on. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. It's fantastic. So it's like I'm starting to have on more and more. And the first big guest for me personally was Sky Does Minecraft, which been unfortunate now. Yeah. So how that happened was his manager at the time, a guy called Dotwave Jordan, had contacted me. He was like, yo, man, Sky Does Minecraft on one block, perhaps? And I was like, yeah, sure, bro. That sound cool as hell. And so we did it. We had a great time. And then Jordan became a co-host of the project. Don't know why, but hey, I mean, look at the guy now. I mean, he's doing like Twitch Rivals events. That's cool as hell.
Jordan.
Dotwave Jordan.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes. Okay. Got you.
So I was like, okay, cool. Not only am I having on bigger guests, I also have a co-host to do this with me. Awesome. Then he starts emailing people to come on, which is where Niachu and Fundy come in. He emailed them. They liked the idea. Then they came on. I'm sweating bullets talking to them.
Still year one?
Yes, still year one.
Okay.
This is actually the second month of One Block I'm at right now.
Oh, geez, okay.
These are large content creators. This is Dream SMP at its near peak right now.
Yeah.
It says these guys are doing insane numbers like you wouldn't believe it. And I'm having them on my project. I'm talking with them. It's hard to believe this happened. Then it's like guest after guest. Now it's no longer 5 days, it's 4. Then it's 3, then it's 2. Then in February of 2021, I just started having on guests daily. There's so many guests and so many people want to come out at that point. I have people scheduled on to come in 3 months from now. It's a 3-month waiting list just to come place a block.
Do you know, for the podcast, really quickly, just to add to this, so like I told you, me and you weren't meant to be recording until October because I accidentally booked like 2 months in advance of podcast, which is different, I guess, because it's once a week. But now I've kind of learnt my lesson from people showing interest in coming on the podcast now rather than me contacting them, to the point where I'm like, oh, I need to stop scheduling so far ahead. That way then I can actually move people around a little bit if I need to.
Because at a certain point, it just kind of gets chaos. It's just, there's so much going on. You have to try to maintain so many guests coming on at this day, at that day, this and that. And that's exactly what happened then and there. It's just like, I wouldn't say it was a collapse of order for One Block.
Away, you know?
It's just like,
very excited.
Yeah, no, it's just like I'm just having on guest after guest, and these aren't like small people either. It's just large creator after large creator. It's just like, what the fuck? Oh my god. And then it's like, oh yeah, Captain Puffy's interested in coming on now, bro. And it's like, okay, what day? They can come on this day, but unfortunately, you already have a creator scheduled that day. I guess I could tell them we can reschedule it, even though I already had them scheduled. Sure. Then it's like, oh yeah, Captain Puffy's here. Isn't that cool? But you had to reschedule someone else because you just couldn't handle having on so many people. So it's just day after day after day after day of content creator after content creator, constantly messaging people to come on, constantly managing this just large connection network that is just getting larger and larger by the day. Guest after guest after guest, group chat after group chat of Jordan and me and the guest. And builds as well. That started being a thing at that point too. Which, if you don't know, builds are a thing on the server where it's like,
yeah, I see that.
Along with the block in the house, you can also add a little addition to the wider world of One Block.
Yeah, so you had the H3 editor on, so they added the H3 podcast, and you had another podcast battle side, you had them on as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen the builds.
But it's just like, and of course that, goes out of hand too. It's like having guests on every day. Almost everyone wants to do a build because it's going to be seen in screenshots and stuff. And then it's like, oh shit, there's so many. I just don't know what to do with them. Because at that point too, people were complaining that they can see the builds in the screenshot. They're like, oh, I don't want to see the builds. I want to see the blocks. Get them out of here. And at one very atrocious day, I lost like 2K followers because people were complaining about it so much.
Jeez,
and then it's and along with the beginning of having guests on, I'm a bit of a pushover at first. I won't lie with you. I had a very hard time telling people no, which is why I had Captain Puffy on instead of the original person I had planned, Sylvie. And it's like they want to place unique blocks on the house now. They don't want to place the actual blocks I'm placing on the house. And it's like Fundy's asking to put a TNT with a button on it. Niachu wants to put a cake. Sky Does Minecraft wants to do a gold block. It makes the house look ugly real fast. And this is where the Fugly House riots happened in my comments. People were not having a good time of it. They were not enjoying the custom blocks in the house, which got at its most feverish pitch when Green Vector came on and placed a block of emerald on the house. There was retribution to be had there. I posted that tweet. Like, I'm not sure what the fuck happened, but it's just, there was riots in the comments. They could not believe it. What, an emerald block? What is this? A house made by a child? They couldn't believe it. They wouldn't stand for it. They unfollowed in the droves, and I couldn't really do anything. Because like at the time, it's like, okay, I guess I take the blocks down so people are happy. But it's like, okay, I'll take those blocks down, but what the hell? Well, I mean, what about the blocks that those creators placed, though? Like, I mean, the emerald block that Green Vector did. Well, I mean, this is, I guess I'm just going to take it down, bro. I'm not sure how else to handle this. It's, so I did that. I took it down. And, oh, yeah, by the way, we're only in month 3, by the way.
Jeez, okay.
And I take down the blocks, and I'm like, oh, okay, that should fix it. But now people are complaining about the builds in the background. They have a problem with them. And I'm like, okay, I guess to make the screenshots better, I'm going to have like a policy where I take them down after a month, after the build, which was so stupid, by the way. I should have just kept them there. I removed some really excellent builds on that server. I really should have just stayed there or just moved somewhere else if I really had a problem with them.
Yeah.
But again, it's just like, as I'm kind of trying to display here, it was just kind of chaos and thought, because it's like you're running this very big project, having these very big creators on. It's just like you're not really sure how to handle it, of course.
Yeah.
And then we come to February, which is the month where I actually start having on guests on daily. That was just, I mean, it was fun. That was my most explosive period in terms of getting to know creators. But at the same time, it was just like, it was just so much effort. I won't lie with you. It was just having a different creator on every day at a time in which they are able to show up every single day. And we're talking about where I'm working with Australians, British people, Americans, almost people from all over the world. Name a country, I've probably had a creator from there. Probably besides Africa. Not a whole lot of creators out there, at least in our sphere. But just like, for the most part, though, it's just like creator after creator. It's going so fast, so far. At a certain point, I had to start doing double blocks. It's 2 blocks in a day because I would either forget to do one yesterday, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll do one to make up for it, and then do a block after later in the day. But like, I'm still having on guests, and I'm having to work with their schedules as well. It's just pandemonium ultimately, which I know I've kind of overstated that, but it's just like, one block itself is very interesting that it does allow me to have on so many content creators and allow me to talk with so many, but it's just like, it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's a pain to run. It's just like, it's a pain to just constantly be getting guests, because 90% of the guests I've had on one block are me asking people to come on. A very small section of people that are on one block have asked to come on. And but it's just like, you know, kind of just keep going along that train. Keep on chugging, brother, because you got to get those guests. You got to get those big names, boy.
Well, I mean,
yeah, sorry. Were you going to ask something? Or?
I was just going to add to it, saying like with the podcast, for example, because kind of linking to, because I obviously have guests on every single week. It's you know, I mean, it's very much a passion project, but of course at one point I want more traction towards the podcast. But however we've seen it, and I guess it might be a coping mechanism, and I guess it's yours. It's like, these creators, if I ask them to come on and they agree to come on, I'm not using them for clout because they've agreed to come on. Like, they know what they're getting into. They know they're coming on the podcast to talk with me, and I'm going to upload it to YouTube and put their name in it and promote it as theirs. And it's like, so like for a while I was like a bit worried about asking people, but then I kind of just thought to myself, I was like, if I invite them on and they can say no or they can ignore me. If they say yes, they know that they're coming on my podcast and I'm promoting them. Like, I'm not promoting them. They're going to be essentially doing me a favor. And I guess that's like how I see one block as well. Obviously, I'm not speaking for you, but how I see it is like, those creators knew that they were going to be part of promoting your thing, but they knew what they were getting into.
That's where a bit of my perspective at first comes in, because I'm going to be brutally honest with you, man. At first, it did kind of start off as, oh, hey, I'm helping give a platform to these smaller creators, which is really cool and fine. But yeah, after like having Mewtwo and Funny on, it just became a contest of like, who the hell can I have on? How far can I go?
But that's literally not at all what I meant. You just completely misread what I said.
I know, but no, I didn't. I'm just saying that's what I was thinking of it.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
I'm like kind of the mirror view of it at first. Where like, to me, it was just like a kind of contest to see just how far my reach can go. Is it possible for me to get everyone at this point? Because at that point, it's just like constantly just huge creators. So it's like, am I stoppable? Can this train just keep on going, baby? In which it did. It just wouldn't stop, which I'm very proud of. But then it's like, after a while of doing that, I just stopped for a moment. And I think it was like the 1-year anniversary where I was just like, a whole year of doing this. Quite a number. What have I achieved? A lot of things. I've had on so many cool and interesting creators that I never would have thought I would have had the opportunity of talking to. And that's where the kind of year one mentality kind of stopped, where it's like frantic, very crazy, and just like trying to see just how far I could go, what kind of guests I could get, what kind of communities can I get into. At that point, it just became more so just what am I able to achieve with this account? Just what is like the long-term goal here? Because I mean, ultimately it's just, having on guests, placing blocks and that kind of thing. But it's just like, yeah, the numbers is cool and getting to know all these people. But like, is this all there is to me doing this? Which is where Merch Gardens came in. I'm not sure if you remember them.
They were no clue what Merch Gardens are.
They were a prominent merch company in the Minecraft community.
Okay.
That just did a whole lot of merch with people. They made some quality stuff over the next 1 or 2 years, some of which I was kind of a fan of, but ultimately fell due to very shady business practices and going bankrupt.
Oh, is that the one that's just gone bankrupt recently?
Maybe.
Oh, I know there's one.
That was the one.
A bunch of creators over.
There's the one. That was the company that originally Boomer and A was making merch with, but then made like a whole big Twitter thread about it, and it was just a whole thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was like last year though.
Oh, probably not the most recent.
Yeah, but it's like end of year one, it just became like I ended up meeting Dr. Candyman. I had played in his Minecraft Ultimate before, which was a really cool experience, and I mainly got invited just because I ran that big Twitter account and helped promote the event. And meeting him, and I had gained the idea of like, wait, if I'm talking to creators every day, that's like an excellent business opportunity. Companies would love to work with me, which they kinda did. Only really 2. I mean, technically 3. I mean, Lunar Client, Merch Gardens, and Merch for All.
Okay.
So phase 2 of One Block. So number 1 was numbers focus. It was just like trying to see how far I can. And by the way,
making money. Oh, you're gone.
Yes. That's money. But actually, the original spark for that year 2 inspiration was my original Lunar Client cape, because I used to have one of those. It's still around. I remember Jack Manifold has it because he asked me for the code for it.
Oh, cool.
But in like February of 2021, I had a Lunar Client cape. It was up for like 2 months, then got discontinued because it wasn't selling. I made like $200 off it.
That's good though. It's all right. It's not amazing.
It's all right, but it wasn't really up to their spec or what they were expecting.
I mean, for you, so just grabbing a bit like $200 going,
Yeah. It was good for me.
Can't complain.
Not that much work to it. But it's like that was the little spark where it's like I could make something more of this. And so I got to work. So I started aiming for creators that didn't currently have merch but could, which you could kind of see a little bit, because you can probably tell because if you looked at the guests I was having on, the people that was doing merch launches with Merch Gardens, there's a bit of overlap there, just a teensy bit. Donder, Isaac Y, RPR, so that kind of thing. Professor Lando as well. So after having them on One Block, they all did launches with Merch Gardens.
Okay.
And it was very high quality too. I won't lie with you, I'm not ashamed of it whatsoever, despite the end result, because they did their thing, they got their money. It was very cool. Everyone benefited, I think. I'm pretty sure they got their money. I actually never asked. Probably should. But yeah, so that was just that was like this kind of more interesting part, and that was where I kind of ran out of Minecraft creators to have on too. Like the more recognizable ones, because like year 1 was just like it was just getting at it. Minecraft creator after Minecraft creator after variety creator after variety creator, and it's just like, oh shit, who do I have on now? So the thing with like year 2 as well is just like I would just have on not really whoever, but just like I would. This was at a point where I actually had to seek people, like actively seek out creators to have on, which is where I started having on the Spanish community. I had an encounter with them before with Barca Gamer. He was a very big Spanish creator that asked to come on One Block, and he was really cool. He was cool to talk to. It was the first ever tweet I published in Spanish, and so I started just having on a lot of the Spanish Minecraft community. People like Magma Boy, Captain Gato. Well, probably Captain Gato's my variety, I guess. Shadoon, Farfafak, that kind of crew. to start having on those guys. And that having them on wasn't even really a business thing because not that many of those guys are very interested in merch, given that generally Spanish countries are a bit poor than English speaking ones. So it's like not as viable to do merchandise there. In fact, Merch Gardens themselves just didn't deliver to Brazil because it just wasn't profitable to do so. Which kind of sucked, but hey.
Wait, so this merch gardens thing, I'm a little bit lost on it. Wait, so was it one block every day merch, or
no, I would bring people. I would have people on one block and bring them over to Merch Gardens. Like I would do the one block thing with them. I would do the one block thing with them, and then at the end be like, "Hey, Merch Gardens, you interested, bro?"
Oh, okay, got you.
Which it didn't work a whole lot. Looking back at it, I was only really able to bring them like 6 people that actually did merch with them. Because getting fish in the chute is only as easy as actually getting it in the bucket.
Yeah.
That was a weird analogy, but
no, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Maybe not for the younger generation, but for us old lads, eh?
Yeah, of course. But that was just for me the most kind of random period, because at that point too, I wasn't really sure what I was doing with Von Block. Because I did I did all that crazy stuff year 1, and I was just like, I'm in the middle of it, in the middle between the beginning of it and the end, because this was originally planned like a 3-year journey or so. So for year 2 is just like, I was kind of aimless, I won't lie with you, which is why I started doing the business stuff too, because I just wasn't sure. Like, yeah, I'm having on like these kind of groups of creators, like, oh yeah, I'm having on Rust creators, and I'm having on Apex and Valorant creators. I'm having on esports players, Spanish Minecrafters, to variety creators, all this. But it's just like, if my interest in it was kind of waning, I won't lie with you. So it's like I was getting bored. I was still meeting cool people. I was still having fun with it, but it's just like I didn't have that excitement for it like I used to, which that sucked really hard. I won't lie with you. It was probably my more miserable period of One Block too, because like
you kept it going. You didn't give up on it, which is good.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I was still going with it, but it's just like that was a kind of like a period too where the numbers were just steadily dropping, and you could like see it on a graph easily, and it was a little depressing, a little bit. It was just like push through it, just kept doing my thing, and then you get to year 3. So year 2 itself generally was kind of
quick question.
All over the place. Yeah.
Before you carry on with year 3, have you ever had a guest feature more than once?
Yeah, various.
Oh, you had a repeat guest?
Yeah, because like either they come on a group at first, and I have them individually, or they're there for one of the special celebrations, like 2-year anniversary, 3-year anniversary.
I mean, for normal ones,
a birthday.
You ever had someone like place a normal block, just a normal.
More than once? Oh, okay. Like not really. The only way someone comes on more than once, besides like individually, is like group visits. So like if I'm having on an SMP or a content group or that kind of thing. If you were to just say generally, oh yeah, who's some of the people you've had on the most? Probably actually Clown Pierce. He's come on like I believe 5 times now. 4 or 5 times, just through group visits and special celebrations, that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, I have another question regarding it, but we'll talk about year 3 now, and then I'll ask the question since it'll probably be a highlight as well. So.
Yeah. So year 3 is where things got interesting. So I ended year 2, and that's where I started to get kind of spotty with doing it every day. So it was getting more. I was kind of waning. There's the whole kind of waning interest thing. It was just like I wasn't trying as hard as I could to do it every day like I used to. It was just kind of like, oh, if I could today, I can. Who cares? Then like year 3 rolls along, and that's where the break happens. I took a 3-month break starting in September.
Well needed break though.
Yeah. So I just took a big break. Didn't really play in events. Didn't really talk to a whole lot of people. It was just me living my normal life, which was it was interesting. When you've been part of that kind of like content grind, just like doing it daily, every day for the most part, just like not doing it is just such a weird feeling. It's like you're used to the bris and bustle of like dealing with creators, dealing with schedules and having them on and placing blocks and looking at their builds and posting it. It's like such a routine with it. And now it's just gone.
Like last Monday, because of things happening, I didn't record a podcast. So I recorded the podcast on Wednesday and uploaded that podcast Friday, 2 days later. But like on Tuesday, I was sitting there, and even Monday night, I was just sitting there as my girlfriend stayed over. It seems like I mention it in every podcast. I somehow mention it. And when it's like, I'm just sitting there, she's like, "You good?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I said, "But I just feel a bit weird. Like I record every Monday, so it feels weird not recording a Monday." And then Tuesday comes by, and like I could work on a main channel video, but I don't want to. I could stream, but I also don't really want to do that. I want to edit the podcast. But I haven't recorded a podcast, so I can't edit one. And it's like, I felt so strange. Like, what do I do? So I just sat there watching movies all night. And I was like, this is what I want to edit. Like, even before we recorded today, I was editing the podcast. It's just like, just felt strange, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, back to you. I was just saying, I relate.
I feel it's just like, it feels weird. It feels like you're not doing something you should be doing.
Yeah.
But I was just kind of in a weird funk where it's just like, I'm not really sure if I did want to like do anything. Was this the end of one block? No, not really sure. Was this the end of Anthos? Maybe. I just wasn't sure what to make of myself. And then I just randomly one day just woke up. It was like, damn, I got to start one block up. And then just got back on it, just like that. Just started having creators on again. Almost every day was on it. Creator after creator after creator. I had Wolfie on. I showed him around. I told him what the creators I had on. Then he invited me to Block Wars, in which I'm now a player manager for. I actually help get people for it.
Oh, yeah?
But it's just like, helping getting people for it. I started hanging out with more people in general. Getting back in the game. Getting back in the community. Start playing events more. Started just doing a whole lot more in general. I mean, just like, I've been just streaming more, too. I did just a regular stream the other day, and that was cool.
That's good. You should do more of that. Just normal streams.
This is probably the shortest chapter. I don't really have a whole lot to say about year 3, but it's just like...
Are we still in year 3 right now, though?
What?
Are we still in year 3?
We're currently in year 3 as of right now.
Yeah, so...
Which is also the final year of one block.
Sorry, I mean, us talking, are we in year 3?
Like, no, it is. Like, I mean, year 3 ends when the house ends.
And when does the house end?
I do not have much clue because, okay, funny story. So the actual house is based off a random YouTube tutorial.
Okay.
I've had 2 guests before look at the house and be like, wait, is this from X video? And I had to very sheepishly tell them, no, you're misidentifying it, which I could do because the house wasn't like as built as it is currently.
With that being said, then perfect time to ask my question for the highlight. And this is actually a question that someone suggested, but never asked it on Twitter. Well, actually, is it a Twitter question? No. Okay. So it's like, with the house, I guess I know the answer now, but I just kind of want to hear you say it. It's like, did you have a set theme from it from the get-go, or was it kind of just... I guess you've already answered this as well, but once again, just for the highlight. Do you let people place their own blocks, or do you tell them what to place and where to place it?
It was just like me kind of building the house, going along a schedule. Then I started having guests on, and it became, you can do whatever you want, I guess, because I was kind of a pushover and kind of had a really hard time telling people no. Which led to people like, you got Sky Does Minecraft placing a gold block, Green Vector placing an emerald block, Sneak Snag placing a purple block, and Newchew placing a cake on the house, which didn't really turn out well.
Yeah, I remember.
Like, people got very mad at that and said the house is starting to look ugly. So I decided to take them down, which kind of sucked, but it was a little necessary to make the house look good. But after that, it was clear, straight, just, all right, here's the blocks, you have the place, pick one. And then I gave them like a little area to put their block down on. Yeah. There really was no planned theme. It was just like, build house, eventually finish it.
But now there is like the set theme of where people place blocks. You tell them where to place a block, yeah. Now
yeah.
They place it, and then you're coming up on the end, give or take.
Yeah.
Fair play. I mean, do you have anything else to talk about in regards to?
I mean, it's just like, the builds. That's a newer thing now. I have a lot more rules regarding it.
Oh yeah.
But before it was just like with builds, it's like, do whatever, doesn't matter. But now it's just like, not too close to the house and no porn or gore unless it's funny.
Yeah.
And that's my only rules.
Fair enough. That's pretty... One block is a very cool project. It's going to be sad to see it eventually end. And then I guess when it does end, what happens then? Will the Twitter account stay
That's
up?
the
Will you stop
big
posting?
question.
Will the Twitter account rebrand? Like, what happens then?
So generally, yeah, actually, just straight up, of all questions I've been asked by guests on One Block, that is probably the one I've been asked the most, which is what happens when the house ends? Which the answer for that is I have zero clue.
I'm just gonna take it as it goes.
Yeah, probably just take it as it goes. Most probable thing I'm probably gonna do is just like I'm probably just gonna build a new house. Just build a new one. This time, no guests, none of that funny business.
Until
It's
you
gonna
get
be straight. Oh yeah, till I decide. Till eventually it just loops back, and I just start having guests on.
It's not a bad idea though. Just like one block every day, like literally rebrand the account to one block every day, part 2 or whatever, and it's just like building a new
part
house.
2.
But that's cool. Like once year 3 ends, you start building a brand new house. I think it'd be pretty cool. And then you can carry on getting guests on, bring on some old guests who built the previous house to do the new one. Well, that kind of just with the amount of new creators coming into the scene and growing, I'm sure like you could get a lot of new like people on.
Yeah.
Like I saw you had Fulham and Corey back to back. That was pretty cool. You had Wembu at one point. You had Sandwich Lord recently. You had Wolfie recently. Like give or take recently. So you know, like, there's a lot of there's a lot of creators who are coming out of the ranks who you can get on to build the second house who weren't around for the first one.
Yeah,
not a bad idea.
So that is one of my more favorite parts about having on guests too, is having rising creators.
Well, you had
having on creators I see potential in, and it turns out I'm right.
Well,
I love that.
You had MCC rising teams. Like that's a question as well. Is it like hard to coordinate? Is it hard to coordinate getting big groups of people?
It depends on the group and the people.
Let's say SMP when you got like a recent SMP on.
So usually, okay, so at first it was kind of hard because like obviously working with so many creators, it's just super chaotic. But now it's just like I simply just ask them this day, that time, does that work with a majority of the SMP? If the answer is yes, hard stuck, that's the date. No changing it, no going around it, unless like only one person shows up for whatever reason. But yeah, it's surprisingly simple, I'd say. The same thing goes with like having content groups on, because like mainly when coordinating that kind of thing, it's I wouldn't say the leader of the group doing it. It's just like the person that is kind of either managing it or is like the most active member usually, is the one that like helps me coordinate it and that kind of thing, which helps a lot. Like a lot of the MCCR team, I usually would just talk to one member, be like, oh, hey, this day, that time, that cool. And it usually was. It usually worked out.
Did a message in that group chat asking, and it pays off.
Yeah.
Fair play. I feel like I had more questions about One Block, but it's just ones I can't really remember too much off the top of my head.
Of course.
But, yeah, go on.
I feel like I probably answered most of them already.
Yeah, I think you answered a lot without me asking them, which I mean is completely fine. I'm more than happy. I've just been letting you talk away, really. Is there anything else regarding One Block that you'd like to talk about or mention, or have we pretty much covered every bases?
I will. Okay, so interesting fact, almost everyone I'm friends with currently and play events with and just generally consider a friend are all people I met through One Block.
Cool, that's sick.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of like people who I've met in the Java community, I haven't really met them through like the podcast, but I've interacted with them. Like, I mean, it's very hard to call people friends, but like since the podcast or like on the build up to the podcast, me and Fulham interacted a little bit. I guess like me and you have interacted as well. Like I invited you to that tournament, so me and you have interacted. And it's like very hard to call content creators friends when you don't interact loads. But like I hope with the podcast it lets me meet these people and interact with them a little bit more. I mean, considering you've been talking to me this entire time, I'd like to say that you don't dislike me. Otherwise you wouldn't be talking to me for this long. You know, you'd try and cut the podcast down, but we've been recording for like an hour and 22 minutes give or take, and we're not even really near to being too done. So you know, I know it's about yourself, but I'd like to assume that you at least think I'm alright. So yeah. So it's kind of like with One Block, I kind of hope to just, you know, I guess it's just nice as well for like creators noticing you or finding out who you are, that being big and small. A lot of smaller creators who I have coming on, or like not even creators. I don't even just get creators, I get like event people, you know, server owners, all that kind of jazz. But yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I guess moving on then, and this probably won't be too much longer. It was always a topic I wanted to talk about anyways. Let's talk about Pandora's Box and Block Wars.
Ooh, my favorite subject.
All right, yeah,
fire away.
So you kind of touched on it earlier, but I honestly can't really remember too much of what you said, other than that you were a player manager and that you joined through Wolfie. But how did you get into Block Wars? And this isn't like me trying to, you know, I know I've made a few jokes about Block Wars this podcast. It's just because they were in the moment easy to make. So this isn't me trying to like swindle my way
with
in.
Me,
like, how did you get in?
So with me, it's a bit of a, I guess, special situation where it's just like, I guess Alex sees that I just bring a lot of value to the event, and that not only can I bring creators to the event, but I also know like everyone there for the most part, because most of the people in that event I've had on one block before, so they know me, they know what's up with me, they chill. And also I'm not too good at Minecraft, which helps.
That helps a lot, yeah.
But the probably the biggest thing, which, and no offense to Alec, I mean, I've literally been told by like Wolfie and Shane too. I mean, by Misty and Shane too. Is that like I kind of was invited for the most part because I do just know so many people. Which I'm not even offended by. Like, I accept that. I know that. I own that, even.
But it's like what I said earlier. You knew what you were getting into. Like, you knew that was probably going to be one of the reasons, but you still chose to go ahead with it anyways.
Yeah, and I've had just a great time with it. I mean, Block Wars is probably one of the best events I've ever played.
It looks so fun.
And that's even take into consideration, like, Gavin events and Wave Presents events and Minecraft Ultimate. And even, well, I haven't played in Twitch Rivals before, but just based off, like, watching Twitch Rivals 2. Like, Block Wars is one of the best events around, just genuinely.
Yeah.
Even without the bias of me being part of the team.
And so I guess like it's pretty basic on how you got part of the team. It's because one block they knew you knew people, and that's why they kind of brought you on board to grab players or get players interested.
Yeah.
How many?
Which I did help out a lot with at the recent event, Minecraft. I mean, Block Wars rookies.
Oh,
I invited about a quarter of the. I invited about a quarter of the roster there.
Off the top of your head, how many, like, number-wise, how many players have you got in Block Wars? I don't want to hear names, I just want to hear, like, numbers.
Yeah, of course. Sure. Okay, so for Block Wars rookies, there's about 12 people I brought in, if you were to consider everything. Then you have Block Wars Pride, which I brought in about 4 more people for that, so 16 total. Not all of these people are people that are playing, by the way. It's just like, these are people who do plan on playing at some point.
Okay.
Along with actually have paying. Then you have Block Wars 7, which I can just say this, almost the entire Spanish team was people I invited for Block Wars 7. Because I just happen to know a bunch of Spanish creators. Yeah. So it's like 4 people right there. Then you have, let's see. Then that's it so far. So like overall, I've brought like 20 people, all things considered.
That's not too bad, you know. Good numbers.
Yeah. And I believe like, and half of that are like active players too. Or people that have played before.
And then the rest of the people you just knew.
Yeah. No, like, did want to play and said they wanted to play, but just couldn't make it ultimately. But yeah. And
then what about, I mean, what's your experience with Block Wars? I mean, you've kind of
already said it. I will say at first, it was kind of like, it felt a little bit like noob crushing. I'll lie with you, because I just was so new to it, and I'm not exactly, that was my first time ever doing kind of like competitive Minecraft and taking it seriously, because I did actually practice and stuff for that event, which is the first time I'd done something like that. And it was so fun. I mean, it was one thing too, where it's like, I already knew Misty. He was a good friend. He's a really good friend. So I like chill with him. And I also invited 2 people who I knew very well. I mean, not very well, but like was friends with, namely Ashley and Line Chu for my team, that Block Wars Pride.
Yeah.
And that it was just a great time. I mean, for the most part, it's like when it comes to teams too, I don't decide on my team, but it's just like when Alex is making teams, I just kind of tell him, oh, hey, I would like this person on my team if possible. Or like I can invite this person for my team, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, cool. Sometimes goes my way, sometimes does not at all. But it's almost always a very cool, fun mix, and is just an amazing time thoroughly. The games are very well made. Like, comparing it to a Gavin event, which I'm sure you've probably been in one before.
I've never been in a Gavin event. I mean, like...
Really?
Well, they have me added on Discord, and they've, like, joined my streams, and we've interacted, but I don't see, the thing is, I'd love to get invited to stuff, but I always just get a bit thingy about asking, especially with, like, the podcast. Like, I'm always... If I bring a guest on the podcast, for example, like, I know I've made jokes about, like, Block Wars, and it sounds like I'm hinting. I'm really not hinting. Block Wars is very behind closed doors. But it's like, say I ever brought Wolfie on the podcast, it's like I'd feel so awkward ending the podcast and be like, yo, I joined Block Wars, because it's almost like a sense of like, oh yeah, I brought you on the podcast, so bring me on your thing, you know. I even with Gavin, like I haven't invited him on the podcast, but it just feels so, I just feel a bit thingy asking. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. Like, when I first joined this community back in March, I will admit, I've said this publicly, I was silly. I DM'd Wolfie. I was like, yo, like, you know, if you ever need someone for Block Wars, I'd be down to play. I don't know what was going through my mind. I think I DM'd like a good amount of tournaments, Minecraft Mayhem, Minecraft Mania. Obviously, it worked for like those two, and Shalom, the owner of Mayhem, knew who I was. He used to watch my content. So, but like, I'll admit that was just a silly thing to do. But I just always get a bit thingy about asking people. I don't know. But yeah, we've interacted, like we have each other added, but he's just never invited me.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I've seen events. I've seen how they work, because there's been a good few Bedrock players who've played in it, and I used to be a Bedrock content creator. So, yeah, so I've seen a good few. I mean, actually, a lot of that old community know about the One Block Everyday accounts. That's pretty. Yeah. You were saying about the quality of it.
Yeah, so like Gavin events, I mean, they can be of varying quality. He's aware of it too, where it's like one can be like kind of just all right, a little boring, and then another is like it kind of barely starts. But I mean, that's just how it is sometimes with like trying to get these events out. But Block Wars is just generally just the most quality thing I've seen. It's like it's so fine-tuned, I'd say. Especially for how long it's been going. It's been going since before. Actually, Block Wars started only a week after I started One Block, which is weird to think about. But like it's been going for such a long time. They've had so much time to just fine-tune it, kind of fix little things here and there. It's an event and just a staff I hold very high in regard. I am happy just to bring whoever to that event. They name a creator, I'll try my best to get them in, because I do think they'll enjoy it. Which came in clutch with the Rookies event, of course. Yeah.
And then what about Pandora's Box? How did you get into that? And
I got fucking shit on, bro. Like, it was not even a competition.
That was your first ever one, right?
That was Coffin Baby versus like 100 hydrogen bombs. I won't lie with you. Cause I got dead last in most of the games.
Was that your first?
That was my first Pandora's Box, and I was playing with
friends.
Your
POV as well.
Yeah, it was just god damn. It is such a different roster to Block Wars. Because it's like Block Wars, I'm a kind of mid player. I usually get like 30th individual or something close to that. I'm not bad, but not necessarily good. But I'm Pandora's Box. I might as well just be a baby at the keyboard. Because holy!
Now play Block Wars Origins.
I would say, from what I've heard, Block Wars Origins is easier than Pandora's Box.
I've heard Block Wars Origins is quite sweaty.
It is quite sweaty, but it's not Pandora's Box. But a lot of Pandora's Box people do play in Block Wars Origins.
Got you.
So it's like they're both kind of equally sweaty, which I could only imagine playing that kind of roster in a Block Wars event. It just would be straight up torture. But it's just like Pandora's Box 2 is just very well made and very well done. I mean, the survival points change is really weird. And it's just like didn't really help newer players at all. Like
if public trauma like about it. But I mean, I had my own views on it as well. I didn't share it publicly, but I did have my own views. Yeah.
It's just like it's such a weird choice because it only benefits the good players. It doesn't benefit the bad players whatsoever. In fact, if anything, it further sets to make them do worse, which is probably why I personally did a lot worse than expected. Which that may be kind of copium for me. I won't lie with you.
No, I mean,
because I got dead last individual.
Silly. Like the point difference of survival games is outrageous, and I mean, I openly said it as well. It makes the event too sweaty, especially when you're removing it from like Sky Survivors. Because like if you trap someone, you're not gonna get the kill for it. If you didn't hit them and you place 2 blocks in a panic so they can't hit you and they fall into the void, you don't get the kill for it. But then you don't get survival points either. So it's like I mean I won't. It's
just a choice I don't get, and like I saw staff in the Discord as well just be like, it's actually a good change actually.
A lot of like publicly people like
public people publicly being like, well, you're get good, bro.
And then a lot of people were on our side. Well, I don't know if I assume from hearing what you said, our side is like it's a bit of just I don't know. It's just
a lot of the other content creators like Shane was very public about like not enjoying it.
Oh, even Shane. And Shane's good at the game as well.
Yeah, I know. Because he knew that for someone like me or like players of similar skill, we're just going to get shit on. Because we just can't stand the task against someone like Kel Awesome.
Yeah, and then you're forced into PvP, and then you're not going to win that fight. So, because
it just encourages more aggressive play style that just doesn't accommodate people who don't have that kind of skill like that. Because I mean, I'm kind of a reserve player. I'm a bow guy. I like to attack people from range, but just for no survival points is just like all or nothing, dude. There's really no other way to go about it.
Oh, but there's hit points. I mean, really though.
There's drama point. I mean, not drama. There's damage points.
They don't really
do damage pool
too much for you, point wise, especially if you're dying straight away.
Unless you're like wiping out team after team, it's not gonna do a whole lot.
But it's just the thing is with like no survival points is like there's not really a point of you constantly running from a team. Like if you're constantly running from a team and they're killing other teams, at least you're getting points for it. But in the end, you're like, well, I'm not gonna get points either way now, and like the other teams are dead who are around my skill level, so I kind of have to go for this fight. And like loot's gone, I have to do this fight. Like even in the final circle, you know, instead of just camping in the corner, there's no point. You might as well just go full in, get 2 hits off die, and you're like, oh yeah, like, points. Not really. No, none.
Yeah. It was a very controversial change, which I do hope they fix in the future, because from what I've kind of seen, it seems like they do want to make the event more creator friendly, which is the ultimate goal, which I am all for. You know, I'm a very big variety advocate, I guess you could say. I like having the bad players, the mid players, the good players, that whole kind of range there. If they're all able to have fun in an event, I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it seems like, the current changes they made is just, I would say,
the idea.
Interesting. I get what they're going for,
but their testers must be sweaty.
Yeah, I mean, their tester. Apparently, the testers had no problems with it, from what they said.
So their testers must be very good at the game.
Which I don't even, I kind of half don't believe that, because like, no fucking way, no way, no one complained. But I mean, I guess testers generally are very sweaty though, so maybe
maybe they just like crack testers.
Yeah. But it is interesting to see too, because it's like Pandora's Box doesn't know how to decide whether or not they want to be a creator event or a skill event, which I mean either way is very interesting to go for, but it's like they kind of want to sit on the fence there, which is ultimately just kind of detrimental, because it's like you're just making it harder for the creators that do want to come in and play, but you still want to have it be skill-based. You want to make it like a skill event, like the esports of Minecraft.
And they're not really too consistent enough to do a block wars route where they have block wars and block wars origin.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's not a tournament every month. Tournament's very rare.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like so random too, because it's like, I mean, I'm guessing it is like a kind of small team, which I get. But I do hope for better for the future, though. I hope they do make changes that do make the event more friendly to new people, and they are able to expand it and become bigger and better, because there are some event hosts that may kind of differ on opinion. But my general ideology of these events is just like, I want them all to prosper. Yeah, I want it to be a whole field of just prosperous, very well-made events, all friendly to newcomers and skilled players alike, that are just well-made, friendly to new people, and just do well. And yeah, I'm very hopeful for the future of current Minecraft events, because I mean, currently the big 3, Pandora's Box, Block Wars, and Minecraft Championship, those are, for many people, the only events to go for, which is very unfortunate. So we need more diversity, you know?
Mayhem and
more
Mania.
Variety.
Mayhem and Mania, they're too.
I am very interested in those events, but again, it is kind of an issue there too with those rosters, where it is just sweaty to the max.
Not really. Mania isn't too sweaty anymore. They have like, the good thing about Mania is they're not restricted to just content creators. They have like community as well, but they're not too, like, it's not really too sweaty, I don't think. The teams are pretty bad. I mean, apparently this season they've announced they're trying to make it a little less way, so we'll see who got into that. But yeah, I mean, I've won the only ever Mania I played. I got into Pride somehow. I think I was like one of three straight creators who got in, and I won it. So that's it. But I've never played Mayhem in the 2 seasons that they've had that I was around in this community for. One was when I was in Ireland, and the second one was when my friend from America came to England. So I couldn't play in either. So I'm hoping to win the next one. That'd be ideal. But
events in general are just so interesting. It just sucks that I work on Saturdays though. They're all on Saturday. There's no Sunday event. It's prime real estate. Honestly, the only Sunday event is Pandora's Box.
Well, I play in one called MCBC. It's a Minecraft Bedrock tournament. That's on Sundays. I actually played it last week, yeah. It's an alright tournament, but it's on Bedrock. It's not really their fault, but Bedrock is just shit. Bedrock is just shit, man.
Yeah. I mean, the event scene in general is just, it's full of very interesting, passionate people that want the best for their side, kinda. And yeah, just I hope everyone's successful, because the more successful events, the more choice people have, and the more diverse the rosters that can be.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
That's fair enough, though. Nice. I mean, that one wasn't really too big of a topic. It was kind of just asking your experience with them. But with that being said, Anthos, unless you have anything to say, anything else to say in general?
No. I think I've covered most bases.
I'm probably gonna wrap the podcast up there then. I mean, there's like some questions on Twitter. I mean, one of them we've answered. The other one we've answered. Them ones we've answered. There's like one we haven't answered, and it's from Weirdo Games asking, if you had to change your name, what would you change it to?
Oh, easy. Anka.
Why?
Another Scooby-Doo character.
Oh, okay, there we go. So that was a nice and easy answer. Easy. But yeah, with that being said then, Anthos, I believe this brings the end of the InsideMC podcast.
Why, yes, it does.
Before I wrap up, this is your space to promote anything you want. I mean, preferably not like, you know, crypto link. Promote anything regarding yourself. There we go. Your name on platforms, all that kind of jazz.
Nah, I don't really have anything, bro. I do have this to say, though. Keep a lookout for October. Big things are coming.
Yeah?
Yeah.
For you?
I mean, in general. 2 big things are coming in October. So, you know, be excited, generally.
No, I'm interested because October is also a big month for the podcast as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 big things happening. I mean, well, I guess I can't really elaborate on that, I guess.
No, don't. It's fine, no good. Oh, no, I'm curious. That's going to annoy me, though. Okay, now I'm curious.
I mean, I could tell you off call.
Okay, yeah, sure, 100%. Oh, see, now the podcast viewers are annoyed because I get to know. I mean, I guess I'll do it for you, just quickly. And just, you know, so people can find you. Anthos TV on Twitter, and they also run the MC Block Daily account on Twitter, and they stream over on Twitch under Anthos. Just Anthos?
Yeah, on Twitch it's Anthos TV _.
There we go. See? Perfect. So it's that easy, just so people can find out where you... I mean, you'll be linked in the description below either way, so...
Yeah.
But with that being said, thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all. This has been the InsideMC podcast, interviewing another... I mean, it's not really interviewing, we kind of just had a conversation. Having a conversation with another very amazing guest. I'll see you all next week. Stay safe, don't eat too much bread. Peaces.